Headline: A 14-year-old sentenced to death. Starting in the 1970s, media reports began highlighting an upward trend in violent crime rates, which in turn shifted the political emphasis to being tough on crime, said Shialaba in an October 2016 article called "Should Juveniles Be Charged as Adults in the Criminal System?" This brings up the issue of children being tried as adults and receiving longer and harsher sentences. During this speech, I'm going to persuade you that children should not be tried as adults in court. First, I will discuss why being tried as an adult is an issue, and then I will offer reforms to the juvenile facilities that are more fitting for these children. When it is decided that a child must be tried as an adult, this is a result of the child committing a serious crime or the offender being above the juvenile age set by each state. Usually, attorneys will fight to keep a case in juvenile court because there are many disadvantages to being tried in an adult court. According to the article, when juveniles are tried in adult criminal court, Michon said that judges in adult court do not have the wide ranges of punishments and treatment options that are available to juvenile court judges. This can include things such as curfews or counseling rather than jail time. As a result, they are ruled much more severe sentences, like 25 years to life. In the same article, Michon states, "A conviction in adult criminal court carries more social stigma than in juvenile detention cases. Once you receive an adult sentence, these records are harder to expel from public record, which affects them mentally and in the future, when released. If a minor is sentenced to go to adult prison, this can be even more detrimental to the child. One of the greatest problems with adult prisons is the lack of education for these minors. They are granted a right to an education, but are without access to any education." In the article "Juveniles Tried as Adults: What Happens When Children Go to Prison," Curley states, 40% of the jails and prisons had no educational services at all. Along with educational programs, youth were granted programs that helped those with disabilities and mental disorders by the Individuals with Disabilities Act, but only 11% of these correctional facilities provided this special education. Aside from inadequate or non-existent education and rehab services, prisons have been proven to be very dangerous for these children. Youth are at extreme risk for sexual victimization and are 5 times more likely to be sexually assaulted in adult prisons than juvenile facilities. Now that I have shown you why children should not be tried as adults and instead should be sent to juvenile facilities, I will discuss the reforms that should be made to these facilities. The first and crucial step to improving the system is by improving the educational programs that are offered. The purpose of these education programs is to gear these children towards success once they are released. In a November 2016 article called "Juvenile Justice Education Improvement Show Path to Real Reform," Curley states that recent legislation has established more support for rights for detained juveniles, thus providing a basis for advocacy and reform. This notably includes the Supporting Youth in Opposition and Preventing Delinquency Act of 2016, which models to education programs to that of the public school system so that the transition into school once they are released goes more smoothly. Programs should be instituted all over the nation, like California, where results have been very successful. According to a February 2016 article titled "Class Action Lawsuit Against California's Division of Juvenile Justice Terminated After Sweeping Reforms" by OPEC staff states, from the CDCR newsletter states that they implement the Integrated Behavior Treatment Model, a comprehensive approach to assessing, understanding, and treating youth. The intention of the program is to reduce institutional violence and risk of future criminal behavior. Aside from this plan, the California juvenile system reduced the DJJ population from 10,000 youth to approximately 700. This resulted in less crowded living units, and improved staff to youth ratio, resulting in a more focused approach to educational programs and counseling programs. To wrap up, this speech was meant to persuade you that children should not be tried as adults. First, I discuss why they should not be tried as adults, and then I discuss reforms that can be made to the juvenile system. Gomez of the Huntington Post, in an August 2015 article called "Two 13-Year-Old Girls Are Being Tried as Adults, Here's Why It Matters," said, "Oftentimes, people come into the adult system, and they come out with more problems than they had before they came in. I call to you to stop this vicious cycle." Thank you.